On this episode of Beer Blues and BS, we got a little bit of everything for you. We got good news. We got bad news. We got hot takes. We got controversies. We got fat bears. I'm telling you, this is a great episode. Now, if I could only remember what the bad news was that I wrote on the run sheet, I'll figure it out. But until then, welcome to a good place.
In a world where every Rob, Steve, and Lane has a podcast, two good brothers will try to rise above the rest. Howard Blues and the Mark Kidder invite you to pour a cold beverage, pull up a seat, and enjoy time with friends. Welcome to Beer Blues and BS.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beer, Blues, and BS, the podcast that's more relevant than a Wilford Brimley reference. I'm your host, Howard Blues, here, as always, with my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. Kidder! How you doing tonight?
Well, Howard, you got to check your beer and check your beer often.
I'm just waiting for you to randomly say diabetes, but, that's just...
Diabetes.
There we go. Now the people are happy. Now the people
you got to give them what they want.
Yep.
I would answer your question, but instead of answering your question, I will, in return, ask you a question. How are you doing?
Well, I'm here. And highly medicated because, Kidder, my wife's family are out at the family farm. They're doing some work cleaning out my wife's grandma's old house. And Junior wanted to go out and see the farm, so we decided to take the kids out there and have dinner with everybody. But they've been pulling stuff out of the upstairs room, so like the dust and in that house was so bad that like my allergies flared off. My lungs began to seize up. It's been fun. So I raced home, took some allergy med, and I'm recovering. Got most of my lungs back in time for this, but maybe some coughing. Otherwise, work stuff. Got to travel to the chateau. That was always nice. For an interesting meeting that I might bring up later. Other than that, and some early onset Alzheimer's where I can't remember what the hell topic 3 is, I'm doing all right.
Well, that's good. Should we start drinking?
I kind of thought that was the question you were going to ask me, but we might as well, Kidder, find out what's on tap.
Zig when you think that we're going to zags. Just exciting that way.
Yeah. Of course, if you zig and zag, then, we'll never finish this podcast.
Kind of like normal episode. So what are you drinking?
No, man, since you got the beer fridge, I've noticed that I tend to have to always go first on this.
Oh, well, would you like me to go first? Because you're stalling.
I'm not really stalling. I'm just reaching for my beer, which is
conveniently
placed over here. Time. I mean, I could go slower.
I'm going to start drinking without you. That's the kind of week I had.
I would say, kid, that you're being a bit surly, which is fitting since my beer comes from the Surly Brewing Company. It is, and I'm going to try my best at this, but it's Italian and in a crazy Italian font, so it's hard to read. It's a Mazzafito. It's an Italian Pils style. So there we go, the Mazzafito. And hey, if I said that wrong, please correct me in the comments. That'd be great. This is an Italian-style Pilsner with such great tasting notes, Kidder. Check these out, because this will tell you everything you need to know about this beer. It is crisp, it's hoppy, and it's breathtaking. Breathtaking isn't really
simply astounding.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a tasting note. Anyway, 5% alcohol by volume, brewed and canned by the Surly Brewing Company of Minneapolis and Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. And telling by the number of dents in this can, Kidder, this probably came from Brooklyn Center. Yeah, anyway. That's a joke that only the Midnight Rocker will probably get, being he's our Twin Cities local. Kidder, I'm already going to tell you this thing is angry. I got the head of the beer already outside the can. So there's that for you. No real scent to it, but of course my nose could be stuffed up from all that dust and debris earlier. That is a hoppy Pilsner. Breathtaking. Not as much as that dust cloud. But
it's a bit dry.
Yeah. I mean, it is crisp. It is hoppy. I'll give it both of those. Those are definitely good descriptions. But yeah, I don't know if it's breathtaking. But it's all right. I would say if you're not a fan of the hoppy beers like the IPAs, you probably wouldn't like this. But if you like a good hoppy beer, it's nice. It's light. You know, I'd give it a 3.5. Sounds like a good rating. Sounds like a very good rating. So, Kidder, what you got over there? What you having? What you drinking?
You went to Minnesota, so I might as well join you. And the interesting thing about this can is I noticed that there's at least one kind of oddly shaped dent in the can as well. So maybe it's just a Minnesota thing. They don't like their beer cans smooth and easily handled. You got to put a crease or some dents into it. I will give this one a float this evening from the Bent Paddle Brewing Company in Duluth, Minnesota. It's craft brewed. 14 degrees ESB is what this one is called. And you can find out what they are doing and bending tradition at bentpaddlebrewing.com. This herber is 5.6% alcohol by volume, is 12 fluid ounces. This is Lake Superior. Oh, wait, hold on. Back up. It's an extra special amber ale, which you know that I like the amber ales. A fun fact, apparently, Lake Superior's average temperature is 42 degrees. They serve their beer at 42 degrees. Coincidence? They think not. I prefer my beer a little colder, like 38 degrees, which I believe is the official temperature of the Triple B fridge. No, I don't have a thermometer in there, and no, I'm not going to get one. I'm just going to throw that little nougat out there. Let's see. This is from Duluth. It contains water, hops, malt, and yeast. Not to be confused with ye. So we'll pop that into the old North Dakota Fighting Sioux Yeti. Pop this thing open. Oh, that's ambery. Mm-hmm. And smell the hops right at the top. Just almost like an IPA smell to it, which is interesting for an amber ale. Lots of hops. But you get the notes, like the toasted notes after it. So that's better, the better part of it. Would I have, I don't know, 12 of these? No. We'll see how it grows on me. It's not terrible. It's not an IPA, but it is pretty hoppy for an amber ale. All right. I'm a little feisty, a little worked up this week. You know, I would say the line, but it's your line, and so I want to get right to it. This is pissing me off. We are just 2 Avalanche games into the official start of the NHL season. They did some preseason games, but those don't matter. Started the national broadcast, and boom, all the broadcasters are in cahoots with this, the NHL. I'm sorry, future Howard. They got this advertising now. And it's truly pissing me off. You watch the game, and you're like, what the hell is it? This is stupid. What kind of bullshit is this? What kind of bonehead piece of shit approved this? It's terrible. It's garbage. So, what is it specifically? Got a couple images for you, but the thing about it is, if you are watching this, you'll understand. If you're listening to this and you haven't seen it, please go to the show notes, visit our video version, and watch this. They, as in the NHL, have approved advertising sales on a chroma key system of sorts. Maybe chroma key is the wrong word, but overlay, and it uses keying. In the technical term, it looks for a color, i.e. white, and the area of the boards, and it covers up the boards with a digital advertisement to make it look like the boards. So, you're watching a hockey game pretty much every year that you've ever watched a hockey game, and you see Rydell, Bobcat of Grand Forks, the Ralph Engelstad Arena, Buffalo Wild Wings, Lucky's 13 Pub, etc., etc. And you're like, yep, they got the dashers, the advertising, it's there. Well, now that it's 2022, starting off the season, we got this new technology to screw up your world. The main camera has spatial recognition abilities, and so it tries to paint and chroma key. So it's looking for the white on the top and the bottom around the edge of the rink. And then it overlays the graphic in a 3D world. Now, the problems. Number 1, it sucks. Number 2, it's annoying and it's distracting. Number 3, the technology is not good enough to actually work smoothly and look like it's in the arena. Number 4, they tried it with the end sponsors on the glass when they would pan back and forth, and half the time that crap didn't work. Number 6, hey, guess what? Most of the teams in the NHL for their away jerseys have white. What color are the boards, and what color is the ice? White, you morons. So, what color are half the official shirt? The official shirts, right? 50% of their shirt. Let me explain it 6 different ways in the same method. The officials are white and black. Their shirts key out too. What is wrong with you people? So, you get in a game, and then you see it. The camera's still, the ad is there, and it's moving graphics. It's not just a stationary graphic. So the play is going on back and forth, and you see all this shit happening in the background, and you're like, what the fuck is that? You can't pay attention to the actual game because it's all over the place. And then the action picks up, so you're going north and south, you're going back and forth pretty quick. Well, guess what? The technology isn't that good. And so the refresh rate, i.e. the frame rate of what you're watching, isn't fast enough to refresh and make it look natural. So it starts glitching out as you're panning back and forth, and it looks like shit. So, did you get a chance to take a look at the image, since it, of course, was on the screen, so you saw it?
I did pull it up and take a look. I really want to see, and I'll have to see if I can find some video of it. Actually looks like in function. You started describing this, Kidder, all I could imagine were all of the problems and the issues that clearly had to arise from this. Just because, like, I've done some chroma key stuff for this show, right? There's been a couple of times where we have taken some stuff and chroma keyed out things, and it doesn't work even well then. So I see it. We're getting some video
now. Some guy apparently in Canada was watching this. So you cut to the cameras that are close, and they're regular views like you would normally see. And then you cut to the main camera, and you have this god-awful advertisement replacing all of the boards. And then you go to a replay, and it's the ads that are in the arena. And then you can see the fingers pointing there as well. But in the hockey sticks, it's keying out. The jerseys, it's keying out. Sometimes the players and the officials end up hiding behind it because the system thinks that they aren't supposed to be there in front of it, so it puts it over them. Like, this is absolute trash. It takes away from the entire broadcast, and there's so many people complaining about it. So, for once, it's not just me having a problem with it, but it's another way for the NHL to make a buck. But you see, how back and forth, it's all blurry and stuff. Yeah, it's just terrible.
It's hard to see just kind of from the video quality that you're showing, at least on my end. It's kind of a little like it's a little leggy already, so it's kind of hard to see anything. But I'm taking your word for it, Kidder, because
it doesn't get much better in real time.
Yeah, but I'll put it even this way, Kidder. Because of COVID, we've all done a lot of Teams and Zoom meetings and Google Meet and all of that. And I think all of us can say, or at least I can say, there's nothing more annoying to me than when people put up a background behind them. It's the most distracting thing for me because they disappear. Because they lean too far back, or they come forward, or when they do this and part of it disappears. And so having that in my hockey, I can't imagine. And I can tell you, I don't even like the idea. And here's the other interesting thing. Like, if you were going to do this, I think you need to invest in technology. Oh, wow. There I'm seeing it where it's keying out the players. God, that's terrible.
Yep. And this is live broadcast, or it was from a live broadcast. You see how it glitches?
Yeah.
And, obviously, even at the slower frame rate that the whole thing is sharing it. This is absolute trash.
Yeah. If you wanted to do something like that, okay, really the tech that you need to invest in is the same tech and augmented reality that, like, the WWE uses, where you place it within the camera. It's not keying anything out. It's physically in a virtual sense there and tied to a spot. And if somebody goes in front of it, then it actually blocks it. That's what you have to do if you wanted to make that work. But that's an expensive technology. That's not cheap. But I will also say there are groups like the NFL with their first down lines and their lines of scrimmage, and they're painting that on the field, and they don't have the same problems that this does. So it's one of those things. Like, I won't fault them for trying to get extra advertising dollars, but you should damn well make sure it works before you do it, and in a way that's not going to bother people. So, gosh, Kidder, now you got me upset.
Good. Get pissed, because then there'll be more of us, more than two of us. Yeah. Get this crap out of here. Stupid.
Yeah.
Let's hope you join in on that.
Well, since we're on the bad news train, Kidder, you want some bad news?
Well, not really. Maybe. Sure, let's go for it.
Okay. And Kidder, for those, because for the audience, you didn't get to see our pre-show thing here, where I totally blanked what the bad news was that I had to share, and it's been driving me nuts this whole time thinking about it, because it's like I knew it was bad, I knew it was going to spark conversation, and I knew it involved another member of the Triple B family, but I couldn't remember what it was. Kidder, I then came up with, like, well, what's some other bad news I could share so that we don't waste this topic? I could talk about the fact that I've been part of this Medora area planning stakeholders group that's looking at developing a plan for Medora, and part of that was a DOT traffic survey of Pacific Avenue that is recommending not one, not two, but 3 roundabouts on Pacific Avenue in Medora. Because I knew that, but that's not it, Kidder. So I won't bring that up except to do this
You
intro that I just did.
You brought it
Kidder,
up, and now I'm pissed.
Well, this is going to make you upset, but this is also going to make one JS Gunslinger upset. Kidder, on Monday, I walked into my holiday gas station to get my morning coffee, and I was going to pick up a box of the One Chip Challenge because JS Gunslinger said he would be willing to do it on the show. Kidder, they sold out over the weekend.
Who buys those things? Why?
There
aren't that many podcasts in this town, and damn it, they're not anywhere near as good as ours anyway. So who the hell's doing it?
I don't know, Kidder. I just know that, like, last Friday when we recorded, you said, hey, I talked to JS. He's down for the One Chip Challenge. I'm like, sweet, I will pick one up. So we have it. And I kid you not, I literally walked in, I got my coffee, I went over to where the stand was and has been, and they were gone. They were all gone. I couldn't believe it. They were gone. So I haven't checked out the other 2 holiday gas stations in Bismarck because they're kind of far from me, but we may have to, Kidder. We may have to.
Look at this bullshit. $20 for this stupid chip, and it's the same one that you saw, right?
Right. That they were selling for $8.99.
Hey, look at that. A 2.2 out of 5 rating. That's going to be high quality. Look at this. $38.11. $33 for 2 of them. $210 for 12 of them. Get the hell out of here.
Who is scalping One Chip Challenge chips? Listen. Okay. I've talked about on the podcast before GW's board game Curse City and the kerfuffle that was that mess. They recently released an expansion kitter, and they've been having to refund a bunch of people who pre-ordered because they didn't get enough copies. And there are people scalping that for like $1,000, for an expansion that doesn't even contain miniatures. But I can kind of get that because people do that with board games. They speculate, they buy extra copies, they use it to fund their addiction. I get that. But this is the one chip challenge. Who scalps this? Who speculates like, I think there may be a secondary market for the one chip challenge. I'm going to make $20 off this.
Okay. I pull this up because I found their website. And looking at this, I either had this haunted ghost pepper or this fiery chile limon that I found at a Best Buy store in, of all places, Omaha.
It was the ghost pepper because I remember you shared it with me.
It was this one.
It was that one.
So hot enough, like stupid hot. Oh, apparently the chip is also like Black Reaper. And Face the Reaper. Okay. So, product U.S. Canada only, has Carolina Reaper and Scorpion peppers. Let's see what it does if I click buy now. Oh, good. Right back to the home page. Okay. Let's see if we can find a store. Wow. Very great. I was hoping it would be an interactive map, but no. Holidays listed on there: Hy-Vee, Pilot, Casey's, 7-Eleven, Walgreens, Safeway, and several others, including an Amazon Fresh, which we don't have anywhere near us. So,
yeah. So that was the bad news, Kidder. I was totally planning to pick one of these up so that JS could have it on the show, since he was a willing volunteer trying to provide us with some content. But no, they're gone. They're gone.
Well, at that one store. So you know what this means.
We got to go to Holiday.
I am nominating you on your travels. So you need to go to all of the Holidays in town and get a cup of coffee and see if they have the chips. And if they have the chips, then find at least one.
But Kidder, clearly we can speculate on this, and we should buy 5 and sell the other 4 at $30 a piece.
Apparently,
and make a damn profit on here, making Beer, Blues, and BS finally profitable for like a day.
Profitable in one enterprise. Great.
Yeah, we're going to have to change the opening to the show. Welcome to Beer, Blues, and BS, the podcast that speculates in the hot chip challenge market.
Is it hot or not? That's the question.
Yeah. So there you go, Kidder. Well, I'll keep an eye out. And I do travel the state quite a bit, and I got a couple of trips coming up. So I will keep an eye. I will stop at Holiday gas stations as I go. We'll see if we can't locate one of these. But right now, it's not looking good. Not looking good for us actually having the one chip challenge on the show. And I'm glad I remembered it because it was just as good of content as I thought it would be when I put it on the run sheet today.
Some bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Kidder, we've been doing a lot of bad news. Let's make a U-turn, or in the case of a roundabout, go all the way around. Let's get some good news. Let's bring up the mood here. Let's get a bit happy. Mm-hmm. Do you have some good news?
I just so happen to have a little bit of good news. And what is it? Well, my brother, look at this. I have some good news. That's right. The New Belgium Mountain Time. But you got all this other shit in with it. So I have 3 New Belgium Mountain Times.
And at least 3 IPAs. Well, probably at least 6 IPAs.
Yes, there are 3 dark ales, which I am interested to try. And then the Imperial IPA, the Voodoo Ranger. And then a Citrus IPA, which is the Citrus Rescue, which oddly enough has googly eyes on it. I don't really know why. Yeah.
There you go.
It does have googly eyes on it.
Yeah. Now, if it would only focus, then it would really emphasize.
I don't know what to tell you, Kidder, but once again, your camera has refused to take its ADHD medicine.
Oh, there you go. Now it did.
Now it's fine. It's fine, damn it. Look at that premium lager. Mountain Time, delicious, tasty. And then that shit. And then there's this other shit. See, it's even better. It's got ventilation built in. So the interesting thing before we continue along, I happened to, as I was looking for that and then went, Mountain Time, I saw the other Voodoo Ranger 12 packs and 12 whole beverages of Voodoo Ranger IPA. How much do you think that was on sale?
$3.50, Bob.
I need about $3.50. I ain't giving you no $3.50.
I mean, you're almost right. It was $6. $6. The other stuff's like 15. I'm like, wow. Even they don't like their product. Ah, man, we made too much of this trash. We got to get rid of this shit.
Mm-hmm. You know, Kidder, I was going to ask you, since you held up that nice variety box, is it as nice of a box as the Distill Brewery's Wild Series Sour box for their variety pack? Because if I recall from our Extreme Rules coverage, when I brought over that variety pack, you were pretty impressed with that box, because it is a cool box.
Definitely not as cool of a box. I mean, I would also be much, much more excited if it was 12 cans of Mountain Time, but alas, I will have to drive to Colorado, or yes, probably just drive, so then I can buy some 12 packs of the Mountain Time and bring it back and sell it at a premium. Because it is a premium lager.
Mm-hmm. And for those wondering what I'm meaning by the box, the Wild Series Sours box actually had flaps and such, so you could open it up and then you could reseal it. It was great. It was.
Yeah. This is a one and done. 3 cans each. I mean, the design's pretty nice, but the functionality is still minimal, just like any other.
Yeah. You know, the sad thing, too, with that is, you know, because that box is a one and done, Kidder, it's not like you can take the Mountain Time and the other beer out and enjoy those and then reseal it, wrap it up, and gift it to somebody as a holiday 6-pack. You know, Christmas is coming up. I'm trying to help everybody else out there.
It's a pretty astute observation, Howard Blues.
Yes. I have those every once in a while. Kidder, I'm glad you brought up googly eyes.
Just weird how this shit happens to work out with no pre-planning at all.
Yeah. So I saw an interesting study that came out of Japan. From the University of Tokyo. And what they were trying to do was they were testing a problem that was an issue with self-driving cars.
And he muted himself. He censored himself. It's great.
Did I mute myself?
Well, something muted you. Didn't want you to tell us about self-driving cars. The internet has become aware. Self-aware even.
Interesting. Anyway, the study basically found that part of the problem that people have with self-driving cars, it's a pedestrian hazard, because we have just over the years, as we as humans have continued to slightly evolve, have come to realize that when we step out into a street and we're looking for traffic, we're actually looking for people behind the wheel. We're trying to make eye contact. We're trying to go, hey, do they see me as I go across? But in a driverless car, there's not a driver in there. And so you have people walking out in front of these things. So the University of Tokyo, in an attempt to came up with an interesting solution. They have found that one of the ways to solve that is to give us as pedestrians something to look at. And so they have put googly eyes on their self-driving cars. And these things do move around so that you can make eye contact with the car and actually see that it sees you.
That's just creepy.
Yeah. And so the video here is kind of just showing, again, the problem of not being able to, again, because you're looking for that and you don't see where the car is looking. Here with these googly eyes, you can see the way the sensors are moving and picking you up. But it also looks just absolutely ridiculous, which is great.
It's like cars.
So, there you go. Yeah.
Think about this, though. Your neighbor across the street has his car back into his driveway. And the eyes are just there. And you get up in the middle of the night, and unbeknownst to you, your neighbor has backed his car there. And you get out of bed and you, I should get something to drink. And you come shuffling down and you're like, got a glass of water. That's pretty good. What's outside? Freaking car across the street detects you in the window and goes "Whoot," and starts freaking staring at you. I recognize you. Wow, that's a nice glass of water you have there, neighbor.
I'm going to take this scenario and I'm going to go one step further. Imagine that vehicle is a Ford Ranger and we're in Texas. Get it? Because the eyes of the Ranger are upon you.
Any wrong you do, he's going to see. Because when you're in Texas, look behind you. That's where the Ranger's going to be.
Come on. That was clever. That was good. It made you chuckle a little bit, if not groan. I mean,
Well, maybe not groan, but the pain is growing. Pressure in my brain.
Kitter's like, I'm not drunk enough for this conversation.
No, I'm not. I've had a lot of alcohol this week, but clearly not enough.
Hey, it's just going to be one of those episodes, Kidder. We got a lot of interesting topics on here, and that's all right. It's keeping it interesting.
Yeah.
Kidder, I guarantee you that I have at least one more topic that's going to make your head explode. So it's coming up.
You want to do that now?
No. Let's come back to that. Let's let you calm down after my Walker Texas Ranger reference and bring back the sanity a little bit, and then I'll hit you again later.
Well, you got to watch out because I'm going to roundhouse kick you just like Walker would. But it's
I got at least
you say.
I was going to say at least I have a 30-minute head start. So
find you. Don't worry. Get some freaking googly eyes on a car and just have it follow your dead ass. I see you, Howard Blues. So you're out there walking and talking about Walker. Well, it just so happens in a blast from the past, I found my box from my Walkman. Yeah, that's right. Look at these bitchin' stats. 13,000 songs, which is only a fraction of what I have on the Killer Kidder show now on Spotify, which you can like and subscribe to for free and listen to some great tunes that are constantly updated. But 20 gigabytes of storage. This was massive for 2003 because the Sony Walkman had a hard drive inside it. And look at that. Yes, 30 hours of battery life. No iPod could handle it. Nothing close to it. You'd get like 4. But, look at that. Right? Old school. The packaging. There's nothing actually in here anymore. Clearly. But I should have prepared more. So it's over there.
Go ahead. Future Howard can edit out any awkward pauses.
Well, they're not awkward when you're saying stuff in between that I won't hear because I don't have my headphones on. Right. I also know how to read lips, dude. Yeah. Yep. Keep it up. I'm gonna. Yeah. You just keep it up. I'm gonna get you Just for Men for Christmas. Why? Because I'm gonna increase your manhood 20% by just holding on to the box. That's why. To coin a phrase from NDWF history, I know it's in here somewhere. I just can't find it right now. There it is. Look at this little guy. Even has a backlight to it. And if you happen to put it in your pocket or something like that, and you don't want the built-in battery on, there's a hold button and a switch to turn on or off the battery. Yeah, it was great. The software was shit, but it was great. Even sound equalizers on it. That was really helpful. There's a little trip down memory lane. With, as you know, my old backpack.
Yeah. Yep. You must have been cleaning out some boxes.
Yeah, doing little early spring cleaning. Really early. But either way, power adapters around here somewhere too, so I could charge it, see what's on it. I thought I had it in there, but I shouldn't even say that. I know what's on here. a bunch of bitchin' tunes.
I can neither confirm nor deny the bitching tunes.
Well, I know Ain't My Bitch was on here, so there's at least one bitchin' tune. Yeah, man. I used to listen to this thing all the time. And then here's something for you. Did you ever hate as you're walking, you're just out enjoying the day, and you're listening to some tunes, and you got your earbuds in, and you're just walking, and you see somebody, and you're like, hey, and you try and keep walking, and they stop, and they would talk to you, and you're like, hey, yeah, yep. Well, where's the? Oh, yeah, it's over there. Okay, yep. You put them back in, you start walking. They're like, hey, and you take them out, and you're like, okay, what? Oh, yeah, the what's the thing over there? Yeah, okay. Put them back in like a third time. They're like, hey, and you're like, leave me alone. I'm trying to listen to music. That ever happened to you?
No, that didn't happen to me.
That's weird because you always attract the weird people. So I figured it happened to you on like an hourly basis.
Yeah, no, not with while listening to music while walking. Never then. Which is always kind of thankful. I did Kidder in later years. Like I would actually go into like Best Buy with headphones in, not plugged into anything, but just to try to dissuade their stores clerks from coming and talking to me. That worked for the most part.
Well, good. I'm glad that you started circumventing their wildy ways.
Hey, Kidder, I'm out. Yeah,
it is quite surprising.
I was just craving a good tasty beer. It's been a week. I needed that, so somewhere someone is just finally like, he finally said it. Oh. Yes.
That just means that you have to drink because you said it. You did the thing.
I did do the thing. So, Kidder's now pounding his beverage. Is he hoping for a what's on tap round 2? That's the question.
You start, and then by the end, I'll try and get these hoppy, semi-IPA tastes out of my mouth.
Wow. In a strange role reversal, Howard has finished his beer before Kidder. What is the world coming to? I don't know, but Kidder, I have
winter.
Yeah, I have here. This is from the Dogfish Head Brewery. I have their Sea Quench Ale Session Sour. So, a different sour beer. Blissfully brewed with lime juice, lime peel, black limes, and sea salt. So, a lot of limes. It's an ale with lime and sea salt. 4.9% alcohol by volume. Their slogan, off-centered ales for off-centered people.
That's probably a good point. The most centered thing about you is your camera angle.
Yeah, that's probably true. Can't really smell the lime, but again, still trying to get past that whole dusty house situation. But let's give this a taste. Yep, it's a sour. What I will say is this, Kidder. I don't know that they needed the sea salt with this. Like, the limes have a really nice taste to them. Like, it's not, like, it's sour, but it's got a nice kind of, like, mellow, like, aftertaste. But that sea salt mix in puts just kind of a slight bitter taste to it that's just kind of like, ugh. But otherwise, I like it. It's got a nice finish. Yeah, I just wish it was maybe not quite as salty. But I'm going to enjoy it. It's good sour. So I'd probably rate this like a 4.2. Yeah. A very decent rating from this lime sour. Kidder, I saw you reach into the fridge. I saw you grab something. What you drinking?
Well, we have a fresh bit of hell. Now, this What's on Tap is brought to you by JS Gunslinger. Big thanks to JS Gunslinger for putting me through this. He pulled it out of the fridge and half frozen and said, "Oh, here, use this for the content for the show." And I said, "What? Are you sure?" He's like, "Yeah. I was going to shoot him anyway." Okay. So, JS Gunslinger bringing us tonight's What's on Tap Part 2 with this Leinenkugel Lemon Haze India Pale Ale with natural lemonade flavor. The people in the painting are having more fun. In fact, if they started drowning, they would still be having more fun than what this would taste like. No, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm already prefacing what's going to happen. So, according to this and their little bullshit story on the back here, Leinenkugel's Lemon Haze IPA is a deliciously balanced hazy IPA that brings together notes of juicy lemons with the citrusy bitterness of American and German hops. Well, there's a war in your mouth. Enjoy our bright, citrusy, and refreshing Lemon Haze IPA all year long. The Leinenkugel family. And, of course, 6 generations of family brewing tradition. The best thing about this entire thing is that the aluminum is courtesy of our friends at Ball Corporation, a proud sponsor of your Colorado Avalanche. Let's see, 12 fluid ounces. The Leinenkugel Brewing Company in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You can also visit them online at liney.com. Holy crap, the print is terrible. 4.9% alcohol by volume in this thing. I guess that means I need to open up this piece of shit.
I'm gonna say, Kidder, I have had that on the show before. That was my sacrificial for a while. So I know what you're about to drink.
Here's the weird thing. This almost tastes better than the last one I had. What the hell, man? Maybe
because of
being frozen, it killed all of the shit taste.
I just think it's a Liney's, so that's just, Liney's is like the Budweiser of craft beer. It's not anything super special.
I like it because I can't taste the IPA at all. Like the other one tasted like an IPA. Did these sons of bitches switch labels on me? I think they pulled a fast one in the fridge. Like the beer gnomes got me. They're like, we're going to switch these on them. You little bastards. Weird. I wouldn't like sit down and drink a bunch of those. I mean, maybe if I was, say, sitting on the lake and it was 100 degrees outside, I'd have a couple of those. Definitely choose that before I chose this thing. The 14 degrees ESB. But now I'm slightly confused. Well, let's continue on because there's nothing better than continuing on. And since we're talking alcohol, I know you've spotted it behind me. And I haven't had a chance to talk about it. Oh, he's looking.
I mean, Kidder, let's face it, your whole background is like a giant Where's Waldo. I'm just trying to find the Nickelback poster. Where is it? Where's he hiding it this week?
Chad Kroger is looking in your window over you like the freaking googly-eyed cars.
If you
Anyway.
found, so I could play along with that.
I know, but it would be hilarious if you did. So, as I talked about before, the Metallica whiskey family got larger, and the Rye the Lightning is now available, and I was able to find a bottle in Bismarck for a cool $85. But now I can ride the lightning, baby. There it is. There it is. And look at this. Nice Fighting Sioux green for the Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey Blackened. Oh, yeah. Double cask finish. And as they say, the in Madeira and rum casks. So there's also that. What they do with the Blackened Rye is it's a marriage of high and low Kentucky Straight Rye whiskeys, double finished in the Madeira and rum casks, and born in Bardstown, forged by sound. The interesting thing with the rye variant is that they do not have the different batch numbers with the sound infusion specific to those batches. So I don't know what the playlist is for the rye, but it is a 750 that you would buy it in, 45% alcohol by volume, and it is a 90 proof rye whiskey. So I'll wait for a special occasion to bust this thing open, but it'll just live back here for a little bit longer. Yep.
I was going to say, Kidder, we're only like 18 episodes away from episode 100.
That may be the time, or it may not be the time. We'll just have to see. That's what we call a tease. But I wanted to mention about regular Blackened. As of last night, Z stopped over, huge Metallica fan. Shouldn't even call him a fan. He's basically a Metallica freak at this point. Simply awesome. Love it. Absolutely love it. And as you know, I have my bottle of the regular Blackened in the Triple B fridge here. Now, the batch that I opened, as you may or may not be able to see there, batch number 89. That's what my bottle was that I opened here. And for a refresher, the Blackened by itself is a collaboration of the finest hand-selected whiskeys and unrivaled composition of craft and creativity. And as mentioned before, born in cask, forged by sound, bottled by Sweet Amber Distilling Company in Shoreham, Vermont. So, Blackened the World. He brought his bottle of Blackened over. So mine is 89 and his batch 104. So we did a more or less blind comparison taste test, where in one set of glasses I put the Blackened from my bottle, and in the second I put batch out of his bottle. Here's the weird thing. You can taste the difference. They had different tastes in each bottle. Now, the overall composition, the same. The color's the same. The whiskeys themselves are, again, the same. However, the taste, slightly different. My version of Blackened has a lot of the peppery notes, and it hits more on the top and sides of your tongue, and then you have this smooth, warm finish afterward. But the other version isn't as smooth. It's a little harsher, where you get the harsher notes at first, and then not as much as the warm finish afterward. It's very bizarre. Very bizarre. But what are your thoughts on that? I mean, do you think it's just a gimmick, or do you think that there is more to it?
I'll put it this way. It comes off very gimmicky, right? When you hear about it, it sounds like a gimmick. However, I'm gonna have to say that there has to be some actual variation within the whiskey and such. And I'm sure that happens to other whiskeys. Slight variations. Something goes a little different in the manufacturing process can lead to a different taste. But all that to say, who's to say that vibrations don't matter? It's hard to say, that it works or it really doesn't. But it doesn't surprise me that there's a different taste. I wonder if you could do the same thing if you picked up two other. I'd go specialty whiskeys. I wouldn't go with the mass-produced like Jack Daniels. But if you picked up a really nice whiskey up here in North Dakota, and then maybe the next time you joined Rude Boy Kyle down in Iowa, he picks up the same, and you guys tried it, if there was maybe a slight variation. But I'm not a whiskey expert. I just play one on TV.
Or your computer or your phone.
Yes.
As you saw there, Howie Blues, as you were discussing that, I pulled up the Blackened Whiskey website, where you can visit if you buy a bottle of Blackened. You don't have to buy a bottle, but you can visit it and say, oh, look, my bottle is from batch 89. What songs did they use? Well, mine has a damn good playlist. Look at that. Damage Inc., I Disappear, Holier Than Thou, The Call of Cthulhu, and Justice for All. Confusion, My Apocalypse, and of course it's sad but true. Very good. So now, as we take a look down the list to 104, this one's selected and arranged by Lars Ulrich, drummer from Metallica. That Was Just Your Life. Harvester Sorrow. Dirty Window. Yep, maybe that's why it tasted a little tinny. But it's Welcome Home Sanitarium. Whiskey in the Jar. Literally one of my favorite, and I feel one of the most underrated Metallica songs, Fixer from Reload. Wherever I may roam and whiplash. Yeah, great stuff on here. How many batches they got? They got 131 apparently. So that one ranged by James, yeah, Hetfield, yeah. Just very cool. Anyway, there it is, Whiskey Mastered. Now, as we look at the products, there's the original. Look at that. Platinum in the Ascot Awards. There's the Rye the Lightning. It is a limited edition expression. And look at that, 5 to 8 year on the Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey. So very, very happy about that. And then here's that other one that I was talking about, the Blackened Rye. The Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey finished in the Madeira casks. This one, a little bit specialty for sure. The Black Album version. Here's the cask strength batch 112. I mean, look at even the color difference in that. Just crazy. The S&M 2 batch. I mean, that looks pretty damn cool. Vinyl box set. That's what we need. The 50 milliliter 15 pack. That's what we need. Let's go back up here and learn a little more about the Rye, the Lightning. I'm kind of nervous because it has the rum casks, and as you know, I absolutely hate rum. But we can hope that it doesn't actually pull a lot out of it. Whoa, QR code. Oh, look at this. It has the Black Noise playlist. So, the Ride the Lightning intro, Call of Cthulhu, Creeping Death, Escape, Trapped Under Ice, the Kirk solo, Fade to Black, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Ride the Lightning, of course, and Fight Fire with Fire. That's a good playlist. Your thoughts before we roll on and get a hot take or some other thing from you, Howard?
It's interesting. I'll give you that.
Next time you're here, sample.
Okay. That's a tease. Who knows when that'll be? Who knows when we'll get that? Hard to say.
Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow, but someday.
Kidder! It's one of the best times of the year. It was Fat Bear Week this last week.
Any killer wedgies to go along with it?
No, sadly, because that would just make this even better. For those who don't know, we covered this last year because I am a fan. Kennebec National Park every year does an event called Fat Bear Week. And let me just share some images here with you, Kidder. So this first one is was their official kind of graphic showing the brackets, showing who was up for vote. Here's one of the interesting things this year, Kidder. Not as many named bears in this year's competition. So a lot of numbered bears.
Weak.
Yeah, which is sad because when they have a name, you get behind them a little bit more. For those who don't know, Kennebec National Park does this every year. They monitor the the grizzly bears as they eat the salmon and fatten up for the winter, and they take photos of them at the beginning of spring as the bears are coming out of hibernation. And they take photos of them after they have come out of after the whole summer, and you look at the weight gain, and you're supposed to try to pick which bear did the best, which bear put on the most weight. So this was their bracket and their main graphic for it. This year's final kidder came down to 2 bears in particular. And again, they didn't give them names, so boo on them for that. But this year's 2 bears that made it to the finals, we have, and here are the pictures. You can see the weight gain. We have bear 747 going up against bear 909. So you can see there before.
747's got to win.
Kidder's hitting it hard with the 747. Any particular reason?
Because I saw it and it just went boing.
He'll be here all night, folks. All night until Howard says I'm going to bed.
Flew through that one.
Yep.
Try and stick the landing.
Well, Kidder, you will be glad to know that you are correct, and this year's winner, hell yeah, was Bear 747, bringing home the gold. That was the winner. Now, Kidder, here's the interesting thing, because normally we would just enjoy this as, it's fun. It's Fat Bear Week. But, Kidder, there was controversy in Fat Bear Week.
No. It's good thing we're here to report on that, because no other media outlets in the country or in the world are reporting on this, and damn it, that's why we're here to bring you the juicy action.
Yeah, Kidder, apparently early in the competition, and this is, as I said, it's all votes. So they put up the photos, and you can tune in every day and vote for which bear you think is the fattest. Kidder, apparently somebody feels so strongly about Fat Bear Week. I'm guessing there was some gambling going on with this. Maybe somebody put a 1-chip challenge chip up on this, because Kidder, officials who were running this event happened to catch that somebody was stuffing the ballots. They were able to see that some people were going in and basically voting multiple times to ensure certain bears would win. Once this was discovered, those votes were thrown out so that we could preserve the sanctity and integrity of Fat Bear Week.
That happened in like a regular election. Not just this year, but like any year. We got to preserve the integrity of election. Get the ballots how they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Woo!
Wow. Hey, Kidder.
Now
Kidder,
what?
You want a hot take?
Did I just give you one?
No. I actually have a different hot take about about Fat Bear Week.
Oh, good Lord. Well, you better lay it out there like a hot steaming pile of bear dung.
Kidder, we're both fans of graphic design, and you might remember that first graphic I showed you that showed the bears and looked like it showed the matchups and all of that.
Yeah.
Here's my hot take. It's great that you thought to do that. What sucks is when you don't actually follow the brackets. As I've been following this, Kidder, they would change the graphics all the time like this, so that you could see which bears were up. But did you notice this, Kidder? It's all filled in. All of the brackets are filled in. And what's happening is as bears would lose, they would just get ghosted out. So the brackets had nothing to do. Nobody, like, you see here, Bear 164 wins. It's not that he gets moved up. All of a sudden, Bear 435 is up there. Thus showing that whoever made this graphic does not understand how tournament brackets work. And that brings me to my take. If you don't know how it works, don't use that as the theme for your graphic. Because Kidder, I kept checking in on this and I kept getting confused over like who was winning. Because it doesn't really matter. You can see our winner, 747, is here at the beginning. 747 never makes it any further up this bracket. They just keep eliminating other bears off of it. In fact, you can even, well, down here in the early set, they were a little bit better about it. But yeah, it was something they just really didn't follow. So if you're going to put them in brackets like this, put them in brackets and actually follow the brackets.
Not a fan. That's some bullshit right there.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, like practically false advertising. Maybe we should sue them and then we can fund this show for the next 6 to 8 months.
Kidder, this is Katmai National Park, which means that they're part of the Department of the Interior, which means they're part of the national government. We're not going to win against the national government.
Well, I know that plenty of other people have won lawsuits against the government, so let's add beer, blues, and BS on top of it. Because why? Because f*** them, that's why.
Kidder, it's also the Department of the Interior and a national park, and their funding is always in jeopardy. So let's not. Well,
maybe that's why their funding's in jeopardy, because they do stupid shit like this.
Hey.
Oh man, we can't give those idiots any more money. They can't even make a simple flow chart. That's why they don't get any money.
No, listen. The flow chart has nothing to do with making money. The flow chart has to do with the fact that you have some national park graphic designer who doesn't understand sports.
Okay. Let's take it to the next level then, because they go to some congressional hearing about defending why and how they need this money, and they have to make a PowerPoint. And so they show the PowerPoint, and yes, Senator, we are here today to ask for another $25 million for U.S. park improvement across the U.S. park system. As we know, the park systems are very, very wonderful for the citizens of the United States of America. Great to show off our heritage and the beauty of this great country to not only the citizens of the United States, but also to those visiting from other countries around this wonderful world. And as we look at slide 1, we can see, oh, look, there's a bear graph, and that's our competition to see the fattest bear. It really gets people involved, and this is the flow chart for this competition. Could you answer why they're all over the place, and who actually won this? Well, thank you for the question, Senator. That would be Bear 747, as you see on the far left side. Didn't actually make it to the championship bracket, but somehow won anyway. Could you show us a flow chart of where the money is going? Absolutely, Senator. Let's take a look at the next graphic. As you can see here, it's a picture of a bridge and a $sign going to the other side. Can we go to the next slide? Yes. As we take a look here, it's one of the many astound ranger posts over our beautiful national parks, watching out for forest fires and apparently fat bears, or not fat bears. And as we look closer, oh, it's Ranger Jake in there. Ranger Jake. Look at him watching out over the Montana prairie. I could keep going, but I beat that horse just like apparently Apparently, the funding for the U.S. park system is getting beat.
I was gonna say, Kidder, the better joke would be when they ask the question about, can you explain where the funding is going? I can, right after I show you this picture of our winner 747, and then pops up, and man, that's a huge bitch. And people would forget what the question was.
The truckloads of salmon that were trucked in to feed all of the bears because we don't have enough salmon in the rivers to actually feed them.
Mm-hmm.
That was dark and depressing now. By the way, go visit your friendly folk at all of the state and national historical sites because, damn it, they need help too.
Mm-hmm. 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 Let's since we're jumping the shark, Kidder, let's just continue that jump. And we haven't talked wrestling. People are going to be surprised that they took us this long into the show to get to it, but I see you put on the run sheet you want to do a little wrestling roundup. So
yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, here's the Mark Kidder with your wrestling roundup while Howard Blues takes a nap.
I'm gonna roll right on through this like a 1, 2, 3. In case you were interested, by the time this airs, your friend Elias will have returned. In this timeline, Elias returned on Monday. Couple other pieces to note. Number one, it was the DX 25th anniversary. That was pretty cool. They used the Jeep, as in the like World War II or an older Jeep that was. It was the same Jeep that was used when they invaded WCW. That's a fun fact for you. Brock Lesnar returned and beat up Bobby Lashley. And as a result, Bobby Lashley continued the match with Seth Rollins and ended up losing the United States Championship to Seth Rollins. So your new United States Champion on Monday Night Raw is Seth Rollins. DX ended Monday Night Raw, which was a pretty fun segment because they let Road Dogg do the New Age Outlaws intro. And of course, they do the Road Dogg, Jesse James. And you can't have that part without the badass Billy Gunn. But Billy Gunn works for the competition right now. So to include him without actually including him, as you and I know that, Road Dogg held up the microphone for the crowd to fill in the badass Billy Gunn. They also gave a shout out to China. So there's that. Interesting fact for you. Corey Graves on commentary said, yeah, the other guy is currently doing something with office supplies. That's brought up because Daddy Ass is working with the Acclaimed, and of course, the Scissor is their big thing. Office supplies. Gotta love the insider information. Scissored me, Howard!
No, I refuse.
Dirty bastard. All right. Well, we'll just continue on. Also, your good brothers, Gallows and Anderson, have returned and are now working with AJ Styles. So there you go. The OC are back. As we continue on into the week of wrestling, AEW made their debut in Canada. They were up in Toronto, which was a pretty big show for them because it is their Canadian debut. First time they've been up there, north of the border. And Renee Paquette, she is now all elite. Hashtag all elite. Yes, that's right. John Moxley's better half is now an interviewer on AEW. Then there was a match with Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy where Luchasaurus picked up the victory there. You remember Boy Meets World, right, Howie? You remember Boy Meets World? Well, I don't know when, where, how, why, or what, but in this multiverse, the Acclaimed ran into Topanga and they scissored. So clearly the celebrities also love the Acclaimed. Wardlow and Samoa Joe are somewhat of a tag team right now, which is kind of interesting. So they go by War Joe. kind of cute. They're beating the shit out of everybody because Samoa Joe's the Ring of Honor television champion and Wardlow is the TNT champion. What was cool about this segment is Brian Cage, Nick Camarato, and QT Marshall came out with the factory and they started yelling at him and they were talking about how FTR basically suck. And FTR came out to a huge pop, which was great. And then they beat the shit out of the other team. And Sean Spears returned in pretty much his hometown, Toronto. And that was, pretty decent. They even used the perfect 10 piece to tease him before he made his way out. So throw there, Howie Blues.
I can add to that. There was actually speculation that Sean Spears was actually going to depart AEW. He even posted goodbye as a GIF on Twitter. Sean Spears is 41 years old, so it made sense that, especially since he hadn't wrestled since May, that he might not return. So that was an even bigger surprise than what people thought.
Also, Howie Blues, his wife, Cassie Lee, is now pregnant with their first child, which would then further fuel the thanks, see you later. But I can also see them needing some money because they got a kid on the way. So then Swerve Strickland and Daddy Ass Billy Gunn had a match. Swerve Strickland is apparently a heel now and cheated to win. And then Smart Mark Sterling and Tony Nese came out. Mark Sterling apparently trademarked the word scissor me and was going to sue the shit out of the Acclaimed if they use that. MJF is pissed at Stokely for some interaction from last week. William Regal got involved last week as well. And so there's some backstage progression there. John Moxley and Hangman Adam Page are set to go at it for the AEW Championship. Of course, by the time this airs, that will be 2 weeks old worth of news. But that's happening on Dynamite next week. Also, Jericho as the Lionheart and Bryan Danielson, the third time they have met, and this was for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Big match. There were some shenanigans. Chris Jericho retains. So there's that. Also, there was a tag match between Britt Baker and her clan and Sheeta Storm, Hikaru Shida and Tony Storm, and Sheeta Storm picked up the victory there. As we continue, Rampage earlier tonight, John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli against the Butcher and the Blade. as we return to Dynamite this past week. Pack the Bastard and OC Orange Cassidy. Guess what, Howard?
I've already seen this, so I know. So I won't guess.
Fine. Danhausen was out there as Pac tried to grab the hammer to ring the bell and gave him the curse, and then ended up with a nasty ass DDT. Orange Cassidy with the orange punch. Boom. Orange Cassidy wins his first AEW championship on his 68th victory. Orange confetti and all. Your new All-Atlantic champion is the OC Orange Cassidy. And he's got a shirt to prove it. Let's see. As we continue fast forwarding through the week of wrestling, Bray Wyatt was teased for SmackDown. I ended up watching that, and I'll get to that very shortly. Did you know Saraya, as she was with WWE, her contract ended, and then she was, I guess, unhappy, for lack of a better term, because Vince and et cetera, et cetera. So, regime change there. Triple H takes over. And then, well, they tried to bring her back. And really, WWE wanted to bring Paige back. And essentially, according to the info from Saraya's Patreon, is that there was a positive discussion between WWE, the current administration, and Saraya, but Saraya wanted to do outside projects without having to give up some of the money, and a couple other things is basically why she went over to AEW. They were, by the way, going to get her cleared to wrestle any way they could. Interesting, right?
It is, although it's interesting. The rumors that I had heard was that the WWE wasn't trying to clear her, and was just kind of letting her basically sit there. When she did ask, they just kind of ignored. So, because the commentator I heard, so that Triple H was actually kind of shocked to learn that WWE hadn't tried to re-sign her and that they hadn't really given her a chance to be cleared. So that's the story I heard. How much is true on that, I don't know, but I'll throw that out there as a thing I heard.
And definitely with the previous regime, they had her under contract. They wouldn't let her out. They made her sit out her time. And I could see that being a big reason why she would be pissed. I mean, I would be pissed. You're not doing anything with me. Sit at home and get paid. Okay, that's cool to some extent. But if you want to do what you want to do, you want to go wrestle or something, not cool. A potential signing. This is speculation, purely speculation. Vincent and Dutch. They were part of The Righteous in Ring of Honor, and they were on Impact. They just finished their contract. Apparently, WWE has filed trademarks for Uncle Harper and Uncle Howdy. And some people assume that's related directly to Bray Wyatt and that they will use those names for Vincent and Dutch. Not quite sure. They have the Wyatt family look to them.
Mm-hmm. A couple of other interesting things kind of with that and like the whole Bray Wyatt stuff. It sounds like everything I hear says that it's going to be the Wyatt Six. So he's going to have a faction. Sounds like his brother, Bo Dallas, is going to be making a return, and he could be one of the members of the Wyatt Six. And then just as a fun fact, whoever it was who portrayed Abby the Witch at Bray Wyatt's return at Extreme Rules, the mask that they wore was actually Luke Harper / Brody Lee's mask that he wore as part of the Bash Brothers when him and Eric Rowan were under that gimmick. So that mask being reused there. So just as a fun fact for you.
Yes. We'll return to Bray Wyatt and company shortly. According to Mr. Metzler, recovery for my son, Cody Rhodes, is going better than expected. So good for Cody Rhodes. On this evening's SmackDown, Sami Zayn and Kofi Kingston. LA Knight fought the Maximum Male Models. Who did he fight? Mansoor, I believe. And then the fatal four-way between Ricochet, Sheamus, Karrion Kross, and Solo gets the Intercontinental title shot. There was some shenanigans there. Rey Mysterio threatened to quit. Went to Triple H, talked to him, and ended up getting a contract with SmackDown, was inserted into that match, and your number one contender for the Intercontinental title is Rey Mysterio. He did that because he didn't want to fight Dominic. Also on tonight's Rampage, again, the Blackpool Combat Club against the Butcher and the Blade. Ethan Page versus Isaiah Cassidy. The Pinnacle versus the Embassy. And Nyla Rose versus Anna Jay. Shinsuke Nakamura, part of the Three Musketeers, was also at Antonio Inoki's funeral. So a good show of respect there. Now, as we talk about SmackDown, right at the very end of the episode, Bray Wyatt. Brand new theme. And it's not a ripoff or remix of some old theme. And I so far like it. I was hoping to find a good version of it to be able to listen to it, but so far, so good. He showed up wearing street clothes, basically, and essentially talked about being just himself. The first time that he's revealed himself, and talked about a lot of challenges that he ran into over the past 2 years, losing his confidence, losing his career, and losing people close to him. And then he wanted to thank everybody. And as he was talking and thanking people, he got cut off by a video montage with the new mask and the glitches and whatnot, saying that essentially, you'll meet who's inside, talk about everything. It's going to be new. It's going to be different. And and that was done. Let's hop on over to Rampage quickly, and Blackpool Combat Club pick up the win. Hangman Adam Page still going after Moxley a little bit, trying to build for that match coming up. Dark Order's backstage, and the AFO have been trying to get the Dark Order's number 10 to sign with them. So Dark Order's number 10 challenges Roosh If he wins, AFO leaves them alone for good. And Stu Grayson returns and says he's not going to miss this. Interestingly enough, there's that. Jericho Appreciation Society was out on Rampage. And there's a little segment there. Not too bad. Some other notes. Ethan Page defeats Isaiah Cassidy with Ego's Edge. And Private Party and Matt Hardy's contracts now belong to the Firm. That was a stipulation as part of that match. The Best Friends have challenged Death Triangle for the Trios Championship on Dynamite. And then the main event for Rampage was FTR with Shawn Spears versus Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony. So, when it comes down to it, Shawn Spears hit the C4 at Pinnacle win the main event. Interestingly enough, the Kingdom make their way out, and it's Maria Kanellis introducing themselves and that they want the IWGP and Ring of Honor tag titles. So now they have appeared order on AEW. So we'll see what happens. It's the wide, wacky, waving, inflatable, flailing world of professional wrestling. That's about enough for this week. We'll be back maybe next week or something with more. Anyway. Cheers, Howard. What you got in your mind? You got something on your mind?
Just how much I hate Facebook meta business. I'm trying to fix Kidder because our episode with the Midnight Rocker Tate came out, and it's not tagging him on our post. It's just got the @ sign that. So I'm trying to fix it, but I have to go into Meta Business to do it, and it's being a pain in the butt.
Would you like me to do it?
Yeah, go for it.
I will take Facebook and I will put it in its place.
Yes. Although it puts me in a weird position.
Thumbnail.
The new thumbnail. Did you change the thumbnail?
Maybe.
My internet is not that great that I can check on this shit, so I could just use with a nice simple yes or no.
Let me pull it up. You were saying something about you're saying something about something.
I forget where I was at with it.
You were in the middle of something.
I know, and I forget where I'm at with it because you threw in the thumbnail thing and pissed me off.
Threw a curveball at you. All right, so I did not change the thumbnail for the video. I updated our profile picture thumbnail just a little bit. Just a little tweak. Some bigger beer, some bigger blues, some bigger bullshit.
I had seen that. I'm okay with it.
Circle.
I get that. I say I'm okay with that, Kidder. It is just because you didn't tell me you were going to do that. It has thrown me off when I look for because our brains get really programmed to look for the microphone. So it has thrown me off a little bit with that. I don't mind that you changed it, and you're you're fully able and capable of doing that. And it's not like I care that you necessarily change, except you didn't tell me, so it's been a little bit of an adjustment period. So if I seem a little tense with this whole like and I go, did you change this? Well, you have to go look. This is why. Just damn it, man, send me a text. Just say change the profile pic, and I would have been okay. I know I got to look for something different.
In my defense, it's barely different.
It is barely different, but it's
enough change.
It's a big enough change that like I don't catch it quite as quickly when I'm like looking for things. Yeah. Anyway, Kidder, you put down that we have 11 topics. What's the 11th topic?
Howard's pissed off. That's topic 11. I fixed the thing.
Good.
Oh, man. I thought about doing 3 Bs, like the triple B. But then I'd have to put the other stuff on there. Tired. Maybe I'll look into that.
Well, Kidder, we may not have actually really had a topic 11, but we do have a topic 12. Because you sent me a video. And it was a video of a hockey fight. And it was a fight that took place between the Bismarck Bobcats and the St. Cloud Norsemen.
Yeah. Quite the fight, huh?
Yeah. In fact, I found a news article and I was reading it on the car trip in from Driscoll because my wife was driving. And I thought I would share it here because this is more than just a fight, Kidder. I don't know if you know all of this, but so the Bismarck Bobcats picked up a 7-4 win over the St. Cloud Norsemen Saturday at the VFW Sports Center. But it wasn't the score that got the junior hockey world talking. The two teams combined for 226 penalty minutes in the contest.
Awesome.
With St. Cloud's Jake Hazu and Bismarck's Adam Patilla each receiving 69 penalty minutes apiece.
Nice.
The teams tangled throughout, but the brunt of the penalties were assessed after a massive brawl midway through the third period. As a result of the melee, here you go, Kidder. You'll enjoy this. Hazu received the following penalties: a 2-minute instigator minor, a 5-minute fighting major, a 10-minute fighting misconduct, a 10-minute misconduct for continuing an altercation, a 20-minute instigator misconduct, and a 20-minute misconduct for abuse of an official, all at 8:23 of the third period. Yeah. Hazu and teammate Wyatt Wurst were listed as suspended on St. Cloud's line chart before the Norsemen's contest against Minot on Sunday night. The length of those suspensions is not known. The NAHL said it does announce suspensions, and the St. Cloud Norsemen said team policy is not to comment on player suspensions. The league, however, does have policy established for fighting on its code of conduct page. Serious infractions may include suspensions and or fines levied against the team. So there you go. Some interesting news in regards to that brawl. And future Howard will play the video. So you all should have seen that by now if you are watching on our YouTube. And Kidder, with that amazing assortment of penalties, we've been talking for quite a while. It's time we wrap this up with some plugs.
Well, here's a 2-minute major. Yes, a 2-minute major. Why is it only 2 minutes? Because that's all we have time for. Because if it were a 5-minute major, well, then we'd be here longer. And Howard's ready to go to bed. So we cut it over in half. All right. Like us. Facebook. We're on Facebook. We're also on Instagram. Please follow us there and join us on the social media. Comment, share, like. We'd appreciate it. Then hit up beerbluesbs.com, our website, beerbluesbs.com, right here on the bottom of the page, beerbluesbs.com. Visit us online and get all the links to the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the YouTubes, bunch of audio sites, and of course the merch store. While you're on beerbluesbs.com, visit our merch store. Please and thank you. Great stuff on there. From glasses, like pint glasses, of course, with sweet designs, to t-shirts, sweatshirts, aprons. So when you're cooking on the grill, you can be stylish, styling and profiling. beerbluesbs.com, click merch. Also, visit us on our audio platforms all over the place. iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, iTunes, of course, Spotify, Pandora. We're on Stitcher, TuneIn, IMDb, Player FM, those sorts of things. Plus, you never know. There's probably more of them. Just go onto your favorite audio listening service, search Beer, Blues, and BS, and please subscribe for free. Then, of course, as Howard mentioned, we're on YouTube, the video version right in front of your face. Bring us into your home, the Triple B, live, loud, and in living stereorama color. Yes, Beer, Blues, and BS on YouTube. All those links and much more, beerbluesbs.com. So, let's wrap it up because it's been almost 2 minutes. He's Howard Blues, and I'm the man, the myth, legend, Mark Kidder. Thank you for joining us for this and every episode of Beer, Blues, and BS. Hope to see you on the next one. Remember, keep your glass at least half full. There's some free beer tomorrow, and we will catch you on down the frozen tundra Tuscan Highway. Have a good one. See you on the next episode of Beer, Blues, and BS.
You have been listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and BS. If you enjoyed the show, help others find out about it by rating the show or leaving a review at your podcast listening service of choice. Thanks for listening, and may your glass never be empty. UA Productions presents A Glimpse Behind the Curtain.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm trying to remember what bad news is on the run sheet.
Well, that's not good.
No. What was it? What was I going to talk about? It was something. It was something good. But it was kind of like, I need to get this run sheet out. There was something good, and I was like, oh, I'll put down bad news because I'll remember exactly what that was. What was it? Boy, and it was something good, too. What was it? What was it? Damn, Kidder, now I'm really upset with myself that I can't remember what the bad news was.
That's how she goes.
Yeah, I know. I was really excited about it because I was going to do the whole, Kidder, I got some bad news for you. And
I've got some bad news.
Yeah, see, because I knew you would do that. Was it wrestling related? Wasn't hockey related? Oh, that's gonna bug me. That's gonna bug me because I literally tried to get this thing out, because I was It's been a long week, so I was trying to get it out before I go to work or left work today, and I was like, I'll just quickly send it. Type, you know, all of that, and I'm like, okay, how am I going to remember these topics, and what's the shortest things I can put in to do it? It's like, oh, bad news. Oh, okay, yeah, that's this thing. I'll remember that. Bad news. Bad news. What was bad news? Well, hopefully, maybe as we're talking about stuff, it'll jot my memory. So I'm not gonna. Okay, kiddo, you want to talk about your technical difficulties? I have one of these salami whips because I was gonna snack on it here before we started the show. And right there in the corner there, you see where it says "Open here." So, kidder, I've been sitting here picking at this thing, trying to get the, so I could get into it. I finally open it up. Guess what? That's not.
That's just the sticker. Yeah,
that's just a sticker. You have to tear it down here.
Here's the funny thing about that, because I busted into that about 2 hours ago as well. Did the exact same thing. Not all the way, but a good 2 inches, 3 inch pull off the sticker like that. Yeah.
What'd you think of the whip?
Nice taste to it.
I just thought that you would get, a bit of joy out of the fact that it's just this really long meat stick.
I was somewhat confused, and that kind of agitated me because it's one giant stick. So that part agitated me.
Yeah. You know what agitates me? When I forget a really good topic.
That's what happens when you get old.
Damn. I'm not getting any younger.
Still not ringing a bell, huh?
No. And it was something really good. Like, it was like, oh, there's going to be an amazing topic. And there's a part of me that wants to believe that somebody else was involved with it too. Like, it wasn't just bad news for you. But I can't. I have drawn a total blank. All right, well, that's not going to come to me. At least not just sitting here. I'm ready if you're ready.
Come to Butthead.